Okay, so Reaper energy. What's next on the superpowers from Reapers? That's it. What? You have reached the end. There are no more Reaper powers to discuss. You know how to claim life, to enforce death, to travel between realms, to use your shroud that you can perceive our world. And you know how to utilize Reaper energy. The rest is simply up to you to become acquainted with. Okay, so that's it? Lesson over. You are mistaken. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. You said that Salvira Reaper got 2 gifts. Correct, he replied, as I saw past him, looking down the long corridor. Suddenly, it was as if the air and everything bent and warped, twisting out of shape, and something suddenly came rushing in our direction from beyond him, as suddenly a door rushed forward, surrounded by stone, pulling to a sudden stop right behind him. And now we reach the final lesson. The second gift passed by Salvera Reaper down his bloodline. It's here, in my trophy room. Come, and you can see it. See it? That doesn't make any sense, I thought to myself. If it's a power that's passed down to me through my bloodline, how can I see it? I thought, as he opened the door. And as he did, I saw a large room on the interior. A room with several candles lining the inside of it, and one placed on a central pedestal. All of the candles, like the ones in the hallway, had strings attached to them, the candelabras that held them, that stretched off into these strange weaving tapestry-like projections that were ever changing in the way that they seemed to look. Here we are, he said, as he stepped forward into the room, heading for the central candle. As I looked at it, I immediately noticed a difference between this candle and all of the other candles I've seen up until this point. This candelabra had 3 candles on it, not just one. It still had a string at the base that seemed to stretch out into an infinite twine of other threads. But the candelabra itself was rather basic looking, but polished and firm. It looked as if it was some kind of steel or metal that had been polished to a shine. It wasn't particularly ornate or flashy, but it looked strong nonetheless. And atop it were 3 spokes that branched off from the center of the candelabra, each holding an individual candle. All 3 candles were lit, and as I looked at it, I was overcome with a very strange sensation, a feeling of familiarity, like I knew this candle from somewhere. It just felt familiar, like something that I'd have in my own room, except I don't have a candle in my room. I don't know why I would have a candle in my room, but for whatever reason, I got the feeling like it would be right at home there. What is this? Oh, I thought you were smart. But if you haven't figured it out, I'll go ahead and tell you. This is your candle, Victor. What? I said, staring at it in amazement. So you're telling me that that candlestick right there is me, my life essence, in a shiny metal object with 3 candles on it? Yes, Victor, precisely. I want you to pay special attention to the number of candles. Yeah, of course. I noticed that immediately. There are 3. Yes, Victor. So tell me, why is that? Have you seen any other candles here that have 3 candles? Any candelabra at all that held more than 1? Well, no, but why does it matter? Think, Victor. The candle itself is a representation of your life force. Something that, when snuffed, ends in your death. But what if you had more than 1 candle? What do you think that would mean? What do you think would happen if one of the candles were snuffed all on its own? Suddenly, the point he was trying to make hit home very hard. What the hell? Are you telling me that I have 3 lives? That I can die 3 times before I actually die? Man laughed, cackling, standing behind my candles. We're starting to get close, aren't we? This is why I brought you here, Victor. This is the final gift given to Salvera Reaper and all those that descend from him. But it is not as quaint or plain as simply having 3 lives. No, it is far more intricate than that. What you have is 3 opportunities. What do you mean, opportunities? What does an opportunity even look like for death? Well, let me put it to you this way, Victor. Let's say that the strands of destiny align so that you die, and I'm forced as your Reaper to squelch your flame. I need only do so to 1 of the 3 candles. But what do you think happens when I do that? I don't know. I guess I keep living, right? I mean, that's the point of having more than 1 candle, is that you don't die, right? Well, both yes and no. The truth is that you absolutely die. That was unavoidable. You died, your candle was squelched. But, lucky enough for you, Victor, you have 2 more left after that. You see, death and time have a very curious relationship with destiny. The moments that lead up to one's death are incredibly important and are hard to unwind. And time itself is sort of a slippery thing here in this realm, Victor. For example, take the candle at the right side of the room and the candle at the left side of the room. You see them, yes? Yeah, of course I see them. Well, one of those candles is for a man who was born in 1824. The other is from a man who lives and breathes now. Or your perception of now. in the year 2023. But that doesn't make sense. The one in 1824, he's like a vampire or a werewolf or something like that, right? No, Victor. He's an ordinary human being. He has no magical power, supernatural ability. He's simply human. So then how the hell could he still be alive in 2023? Well, the answer to that is simple, Victor. He's not. What? What do you mean he's not? By the age of 2023, that man will have long since been dead. But as I said, time is a slippery thing here in the Reaper realm. Outside of the realms of life and death, time nearly ceases to exist altogether. There is no future or past or present. There is simply what is and what is not. When simply doesn't exist. That is something that only exists within the mortal realms. And one of the great advantages to being a Reaper, we are not held back by time as you mortals are. When a candle comes into existence and when it is born into the world of man are completely different factors. For example, your candle is actually one of the oldest ones here, older even than the one that I told you was born in the year of 1824. Believe it or not, Victor, your candle came first. You simply weren't born into the human world until later. I don't understand. What does it even mean? There is no time outside of this place. There is? What does it all add up to? Well, it's probably far more complicated than you would truly be able to grasp with such a short lifetime to understand. But, Victor, you don't really need to. I explained that for only one reason, so that you would understand the nature of your power. You see, when you die, and I am forced to snuff one of your 3 candles, the strings of fate are hard to unwind. You will not simply continue to live in the moment that you were killed or died, regardless of what it was. No, Victor. Your soul, your essence, your being will trace its way back through time and place you at the precise moment that death was woven into your fate, that it became a part of your destiny, the destiny that led to your death. And yet you will retain all memories of the time that passed, of all of the life experiences you had in between that point and the point that you actually died. It's a little bit like a game, Victor. You get to die and go back. Try to re-spin the threads. Layer your new choices over the threads of fate that pull you towards an inevitable death. It is an opportunity to outwit destiny. And you, Victor, get 3 of them. Just like that sport that humans like, baseball. You get 3 chances to rewrite your fate, after which you're out. What the hell? I said, staring at him, just smiling at me. Now I could clearly see his smile peeking out from under that ashen hair, that crazy green eye glowing even brighter in my direction as he did. Why in the hell would I need some kind of power like that? Honestly, that just seems terrifying rather than useful. Oh, I don't know about that, Victor, he said, still that grin on his face, as I saw him raise one of his hands, lifting it over the candelabra. You never know when power just might come in handy, he said with a mad grin, as suddenly he placed his hand down on one of the candles. Suddenly everything went dark. I couldn't see or hear until I could. And the moment that actually happened, the only thing I could really focus on was the pain. I finally started to feel my eyes opening. And as I did, there I saw a wolf, a werewolf, but not like any that I had seen before. It looked gangly, shriveled, didn't have any fur. It barely looked like it was alive. It looks like it was starving to death or something. Barely skin and bones, but long and lanky. Its eyes were solid black, with tiny beads of golden light staring out at me. A massive bony claw wrapped around my head and face, so that I could only see out of one eye, peering up at it. The pain I was feeling was in my chest, as I looked down to see its claw buried right into the center of my chest. I was back in my bedroom, and this thing was on top of me, boring its hand deeper into my sternum, like it was digging for something. And as it glared down at me, holding my face down on the pillow, I could see a mad smile on its face, drool dripping from its mouth onto me. As the lights began to fade, I tried to cough up blood, but my mouth was covered. I could still feel small amounts of it dripping out of the cracks, though. I couldn't scream, I couldn't move. I tried raising my hands to lift it off of me, but it was hardly any use at all. The damage had already been done. I was dying. Dying in my own bedroom. Murdered by some mad wolf from nowhere in my own dreams. What the hell? How the hell? How did this happen? And as the lights began to fade, a familiar sensation took hold of me. One that I had experienced before in that vision of the past, where it almost seemed like time was dying, everything slowing to a halt before going black altogether. Suddenly, my eyes shot open again. I gasped for air, finding myself able to breathe again. And just like that, I was back in the room that I was standing in, looking up to find the Reaper standing behind my candelabra, having squelched one flame on it, lifting his hand to reveal a no longer lit candle. What the fuck? What was that? You tricked me. I did no such thing. That's why you brought me here, isn't it? So that thing could kill me? Don't be absurd, the Reaper replied. I haven't done anything at all. I've only done my job. Someone killed you, and I squelched one of your fires. Yeah, but you knew it was coming, didn't you? You knew that thing was gonna kill me. Yes, I did. Then why the hell didn't you tell me? I shouted furiously. I am a reaper. Death is what I do. It is not my job to help you circumvent death, to live past your natural end. This is not my purpose. I need tell you nothing. And no, I did not bring about your death. That had already been written, and I had nothing to do with it. That wolf would have snuck into your bedroom and killed you in your sleep, regardless of whether you were here or dreaming of your girlfriend. It wouldn't have mattered. So don't blame me just because I took the time to educate you. So at least your time wasn't completely wasted. And remember, you are unlike anyone else, aside from savige-Reaper himself, he said, turning to the side and gesturing back to the candelabra. 2 candles still burning on top of it. 2 opportunities left. 2 chances to rewrite the strings of fate, to undo your death. As I said before, you will now be sent back through time to the moment in which this thread in your destiny was written, sewn into your fate. If it helps, you can think of it like a game. Play to win. And there's an upside. Your chances stretch beyond this. The power works in cycles. You see, whenever your death is written into fate, and I am forced to snuff one of your candles, sending you back through the pages of time to attempt to retry, to change your fate, then it's always possible that you'll succeed in doing so. If you do, then the previous loss that you suffered will cease to be. The candle will relight itself, and you will start back with 3 candles. And if you die again, the same process will repeat. 3 chances. 3 chances to rewrite your fate at any given point, to undo your death at any time, should you choose to use it correctly, wisely, should you play the game well. It's all up to you, Victor. Will you live? Will you die? Will the game continue? Or will I get my prize at the end? It all comes down to you, Victor Baron, he said with a smile. As the light flashed away again, I felt as if I was falling, rushing in darkness, falling in a direction and I didn't know where. Before I suddenly stopped. And then I opened my eyes, and I was shaking someone's hand. It was the girl who worked at the burger shop. As I looked around, and the noise started to rush in, the things that were happening around me, I found that I knew where I was. I was at the gathering where they invited all the pack members to the Hollowfield estate to tell them that they had a new pack member, to tell them that I was married to Renee, to tell them that I was a descendant of savige-Reaper. This was it. The same party. And this moment was after I finished fighting Sylvester. A week jumped back. An entire week. This is when it happened. When fate decided that I was going to die. But it looks like I have other plans. I have no intention of laying down and dying just because someone writ it in a few chords, mixed some twine together and said that's what they wanted. Two more tries. Two more tries before I'm actually dead. It turns out that this power might actually be useful after all.